Good morning, everyone. This is Sean Blau from the MembersFirst Client Development Team. Thank you for joining us on this Friday morning. I'm really looking forward to taking you through the webinar this morning, so I appreciate everybody taking a little bit of time out of their day. Without further ado, let's jump in and take a look at what we're going to be covering today. So just a few housekeeping items for this morning's webinar. Just a heads up that we are all using GoToWebinar. There is a few different things that I want to cover before we begin. This webinar is going to consist of a PowerPoint presentation. So we will be going through a few different slide decks. Once we're done with the slide deck, we're going to jump over and actually take a look at both the mobile app and the MembersFirst Tea Time software. So we'll walk through the presentation and answer any questions that you have at the end of the webinar. The good news is that everybody is on mute, so that that way we can avoid any background noise from any of the attendees. But in the GoToWebinar panel over on the right-hand side of your screen, there is a control panel where you can submit questions by typing your questions into the question pane. So you can also go through there, add questions along the way, and I'll make sure to answer them in the order they were received at the end of the presentation. However, if there are specific things that you need to cover with myself directly, we can always jump on a quick phone call post-webinar, and I will be able to answer anything that you have. But I will also be sending out a recorded version of this early next week. That way you can share it with your team members who were unable to join us. Okay. So let's talk a little bit about what we're going to be covering in the webinar today. So one, we're going to do a quick company overview. For those of you who are MembersFirst clients, welcome to the webinar. For those of you who are not, we'll give you a quick overview as to who we are and the people behind the technology. And we'll also jump into the MembersFirst mobile app. And what we want to do is talk about, is your club ready for a mobile app? Some clubs are, some clubs aren't. So we will talk a little bit about your mobile strategy and see if now is the right time for you to invest in a mobile app. And then we're going to end the webinar with a presentation of the MembersFirst tee sheet. One, we're going to focus on the member experience. So we'll talk a little bit about the regular tee sheet, how to make a tee time, talk a little bit about tournament registration and management, and then the flexibility of the software. Once we've covered the member experience, we'll take a quick sneak peek into the admin experience, and we will cover those same exact items from the administrative standpoint. Following that, we'll jump into a few different questions and answers, and I'd be more than happy to answer any questions on today's call or set up a private demo for anybody following this webinar. So who is MembersFirst? Well, we're an award-winning agency that has produced some great products over our 20-year experience. We really enjoy working with private clubs. One of the great things about our company is that the only limitation is your imagination. So our creative team works with you to develop something that is specific for your club so that you can create an impressive online brand. Now, we have won multiple awards. However, one unique thing about MembersFirst is that we do not necessarily submit our awards to all of the club industry award components. We tend to hold our creative team accountable with other design industries. So we submit ours to, the Interactive Media Awards, the AWW Awards, and the CSS Remix. So if you are looking for design inspiration, those are three great sites that you can research, and then also you may come across some of our work on those platforms. But how does that happen? Well, it doesn't happen with just anybody. We feel like we do create a great product, we have great clients, but we also have great people. Great people behind our technology is super important. MembersFirst starts off with a great individual regional team, whether it's with your client services and your client development person, but then we branch off and we have a ton of different resources underneath our umbrella. So anything from search engine optimization to training to digital marketing plans, lead generation, we even do video and photography. So there's a variety of different things that you can use from our agency at MembersFirst. Then we jump into a little bit of the software. Yes, of course, we design websites, but at the same time, we also have a full reservation suite, which is filled with, of course, the main two, which is usually the tee sheet and event registrations. followed by junior programs, dining reservations, court reservations, room reservations, fitness, massage, and conference rooms. So the great thing about it is that our reservation suite can be specific to your club, and it's very flexible to help you manage your operation. Now let's jump into the mobile app. Well, your mobile strategy is going to be super important today. Don't just go buy a mobile app to have a mobile app. One, you want to make sure that you're looking at a lot of your analytics. You want to make sure if the time is right for your club. You want to make sure that the features and functions are relevant to your communication strategy. There's so many things that we're juggling today that you want to make sure that you're doing it well on all platforms, but you also want to make sure that you're not biting off more than you can chew. That's where our team comes into place. We'll help you analyze what you're currently doing for your mobile strategy, and then we'll actually help make a recommendation. And to be honest with you, there's some times where your communication strategy doesn't necessarily mean that you need a mobile app. In most cases, it does, but there are a few key things that are important that you'll want to make sure will warrant the investment. A couple of key things are branding. If it is important to you to make sure that your brand is your app, a mobile app could be a good option for you. The one thing about Members First is that it's your app, not ours. Yes, Members First will develop it for you. However, we will be helping you create your developer accounts on both Google Play and the Apple iTunes Store. But it's your app, not ours. So we want to make sure that your logo is front and center, not ours. The other great thing about a mobile strategy is no more passwords. We all know that our members may or may not forget their passwords, but one of the things is that we want to make sure that you're always, um, you know, providing content in an easy fashion for your membership. Now, keep in mind, the Members First mobile app is not for your guests. It's for your members. So the nice thing about it is that the members will be able to log in once, and that's it. So once they download the app from their phone's app store, enter in their username and password, they will never have to enter it again. So even if they go through updates with the mobile app, they won't have to enter it again. So the nice thing about that is that your members will now have their club's content information directly at their fingertips without ever having to log in again. Automatic updates. Everybody knows all of the apps on their phone go through continual updates. The nice thing about the app is that there's going to be one version for everyone. So whenever Members First, uncovers bugs, whether it's items that we uncover or items that our clients uncover, or we're making enhancements, we're going to be pushing out these automatic updates to your club's mobile app. That way your members are seeing the latest and greatest features and functions. Now, you will want to remind your members that they should be updating their mobile apps, not only the members, not only their club's mobile app, but they should be updating all of their other apps on their phone as well. So I know that I'm guilty of this, that I don't always update my app from time to time, but it doesn't hurt to have a quick reminder from their club communications department. The beauty about the app is that you've got one version for everyone. Another great thing about the mobile app is that you can start to communicate differently. In traditional clubs, typically what they would do is they would print flyers. Well, let's fast forward a couple of years and now everybody sends out emails. Now fast forward to today that people are still creating flyers, they're still sending emails, but they now have a few other channels. They have social media, which we'll cover in a different webinar, but they also have the ability to send targeted push notifications to their membership, which means that their phone will be alerted. Members need to make sure that they allow notifications, and if they allow notifications, it also makes it very easy for you to communicate with them, whether it could be for frost delays, parking closures, quick automatic updates. The important thing about push notifications is you want to make sure that you have a strategy in place. Do not just send push notifications in hopes that more people will see your messages. Just as you have a key email communication strategy as to when to send your email, who to send it to, what time to send it, you want to make sure that you're coming up with the similar strategy for push notifications. Make sure that all of your department heads who have access to the mobile app and the administrative side of the website are on the same page with your communication strategy, because you don't just want to have the golf professional or the chef or the general manager or the committee member. Just say, hey, quickly send out a push notification right now. You want to make sure that it's thought about so that you can make sure that, one, does the message qualify for a push notification? If so, go ahead and send. If not, make sure to bring that back into maybe your email strategy or your social media strategy. With any type of messaging tool, you want to make sure that you have a strategy in place. Now let's talk a little bit about target marketing for those push notifications. Now I know there's a lot of Members First clients that are on this phone call, but there's also a lot of non-Members First clients. This is actually a sneak peek into the messaging tool within Members First MRM, which is our website platform. So over the last 2 years, we've actually renamed some of the modules within our system. It's no longer email messages and it's no longer email admin. We've changed those to messages so that you can actually create new ones and view old ones that have been sent so you can recreate them for the future and look at your statistics. And what you want to do is make sure that you're target marketing all of your communications. You know, the first screenshot up there on the top actually is a sneak peek at how you can target your different groups. So it doesn't matter which accounting or financial system that you use, we will pull in your member types. We'll also pull in statuses, organizations, activities, tracking codes. There's a variety of different things that you could pull into the website platform. Once you pull that information in, then now you can actually send out targeted messages, such as maybe I want to send out something to all of the social members at the club. I could select that and send the push notification directly to the social members. In the second screenshot below, you'll also see the different types of messages you could send. Now, the two most common are going to be HTML email and mobile push notifications. The text email is really a text-based component so that it doesn't allow you to put any of the photos within your email messages. So usually it's the first two that most of our clients focus on, and the HTML email allows you to create your flyers and send that out to your membership via email. And then, of course, the mobile app push notification is how you would send the push notification. Before we take a look at the Members First mobile app, I'm just going to give you a quick high-level overview of the Members First Tee Times software. So one of the Members First Tee Times components, the things that I hear mostly about our tee sheet is number one, they love the support and the implementation team. You know, they really try to understand your golf operation because the tee sheet is so flexible that we want to be able to create it with you, but then we also want to be able to train you on how to adjust the tee sheet, adjust your rules and restrictions, because we give you a lot of flexibility so that you can manage your operation on your own. However, you have unlimited support with Members First, and the implementation team takes their time to make sure that you understand how to use the software that you're purchasing. On top of that, some high-level functionality pieces that I really enjoy about the tee sheet is our tournament registration and management program. We have a looking for a game component. So if you've got those single social golfers that are you know, looking for a game and they're trying to round out their foursome, there's some great social tools within Members First Tee Times that you can help pair members together. Pace of play reports. As people are trying to measure pace of play, you have the ability to mark when somebody starts, when they should be making the turn, when they did make the turn, and when they finished the round. So if you're a club that is measuring pace of play, you have access to do that within our software. We have super flexible member and guest restrictions. Everything from seasonality to member type to time of day to how many guests a member can bring at a certain time. So there's so many different member rules and restrictions. And keep in mind, if you're just going down the process of exploring tee sheets, one of the things that you'll want to pull up is your member guest and member restrictions, because our Tee Times implementation team will most likely want to take a peek at those so that they can get a head start as to what your operation looks like from a rules and restrictions standpoint. We do have a lot of clubs that use our software that do not take the traditional tee times. So in that case, starter times are great, and walk-up play components within our software are a great way to manage the tee sheet without necessarily being a club that takes tee times. We also have great gin integration. We could do tons of group play, guest notifications, and it's all responsive so that it will work no matter if it's on your website or on your mobile phones. We do have some point of sale integration components with our parent company, Jonah Software. Jonah Software does have a variety of different accounting systems in addition to Club Systems Group. So we've got great point of sale integration. That way it saves your golf professionals time and money when you're actually having the T-sheet talk specifically to your point of sale. Without further ado, let's jump in and actually start taking a look at some of the software we've just described. So the first thing I'm going to do here, you're actually looking at my desktop. I'm actually going to work on adding my mobile phone to the screen, so bear with me 1 minute while I actually connect. And my mobile phone needs to be connected to the same wireless, so give me 1 second here. And I'm going to restart my reflector software, which will allow me to share my mobile phone. Okay. So everybody should be seeing my mobile phone on the screen share right now. A quick disclaimer, you are looking at my live mobile phone, so if I do get any crazy text messages from any of my friends, please disregard. But one of the things that we have up here is that you've got my mobile phone. Okay, you can see all the different apps that I spend my time in. But one of the things that you'll see down here on the right-hand side is my Neptune Cove mobile app. That is our demo website. If anybody wants access to that, certainly give me a call after the webinar. I'd be more than happy to give you some temporary credentials. So I'm going to go ahead and I'm going to click on the MembersFirst mobile app, which will bring me over to the club at Neptune Cove. What we have found through all of our client testing is that the homepage, most clients and clubs, what do they want to see on the homepage? They want to see what's happening today. So what we do is we bring you right to today's events. You can actually see the today's announcements, and you can also see what's happening today from the calendar. And if I scroll up and down, I can also see any highlights or stories based off of content that people wanted to display on the homepage of the mobile app. So we don't try to make your members click multiple things if they want to see what's happening today. We give the club the access to manage their own content and say what is important to the club, and let's put that on the home screen. However, we also have the item up over here. I've got my push notification indicator. As you can see, I've probably read all of my push notifications. But even if I have already read them, they will stay stored within my notifications calendar. That way, if somebody wants to go back and look at a previous notification, they can. Now, over here on the left-hand side, you're going to see that a traditional kind of app or navigation menu is going to be the hamburger menu up here in the top left. And if I click over there, you can see a variety of different things. Now, this will change per club, okay? Because depending on which items you offer, these will change according to the club. One of the key things up here is you can actually see my member photo, and that is me, Sean Blisle. I am logged in as Derek Abernathy, okay? So he is my alter ego. So right away, you see member recognition, which is key. Now, the members also have the ability to change their content. They have the ability to change their passwords, their information. They can actually access the camera from their mobile phone and actually take a photo and add it to their profile, which will also add that to the website as well. Now over here, you're going to see a couple different things. If I click down here in the club calendar, this will give you a quick 30-day view of the calendar, and I can, of course, search for a calendar of events. I can move back and forth between the months, and I can also click on the individual day. So if I'm just looking here, and I'm going to click on the 17th, let's see if there's anything on the 17th, and you can see that I've got a beginner Pilates class, I've got family dinner, and a pre-Thanksgiving party. So I could easily click on one of those. I could look at my flyer, And if I wanted to register, I would click register. However, I'm already registered for this event, so I can view registration details or add it to my personal calendar. Going back to the menu, a couple different things over here. Easy access to the member directory so that I can either search or do an advanced search based off of the filters. I can go in here and make a quick tee time. So let's just click into tee times. I've got 3 different golf courses here. I'm going to select the south course, and I'm going to make a reservation for maybe Tuesday the 21st. On Tuesday the 21st, I'm going to scroll down a little bit. You can see which times are available, and I'm going to make a reservation for 7:28. Click continue. My name is already here. I'm going to add my buddy Kevin, and now it's going to be myself and Kevin Bear. And I can actually say, hey, I'm looking for a game, so I'm having 2 people join me. That will indicate to the membership that we are looking to pair out our foursome, and I'm going to create the reservation. Making a tee time is that simple on the app. Then if I'm looking at it, I can see now I'm taken back to the tee sheet. If I turn my phone sideways, now I can actually see the names that are on the tee times. I'm going to close out of the tee sheet and jump back over here. Now, I'm not going to go into all the different items here because today's conversation is going to be a little bit more about the tee sheet, but you can see on the left-hand side, there's a variety of different things that you can access, everything from making to-go orders, account statements, viewing reciprocal clubs, easy contact for your club personnel, an awesome way to look at your photo galleries. So there's a variety of different ways that you can actually access club content via your mobile app. Okay, great. Now what I'm going to do is I'm going to actually stop the screen share on my mobile app, and we're going to jump in to take a peek at a little bit of the tee sheet. So now what we're going to use is the Club at Neptune Cove. The Club at Neptune Cove is going to be our demo site, similar to what I used for the mobile app presentation, and we're actually going to go in and look at how to make a tee time on the website. Let's face it, you're going to have a lot of people go through mobile phones. It's anywhere from 40 to 50% if you're checking your Google Analytics. However, you need to make sure that if the members do not download the mobile app, they're going to want to be able to access the mobile responsive website on their phones just by going to the internet, or they're going to want to access the desktop version as well. So what I'm going to do is I'm logged in here as Neptune Cove. Keep in mind for all of the webinar attendees, you will notice that up on the top, I have my on-page editing toolbar, okay? So this is because I am logged in as my administrator account under Sean Blyle, okay? I'm gonna go ahead and log out though for this presentation, and I'm gonna go ahead and log in. I will again use my username and password. However, I am going to impersonate a member, okay? So Francis Abernathy, the physical member, would never have to go through this process. They would just have to enter in their own credentials, and it would be taken to their own member homepage. Okay. So now we're on the private side of the website. There's a variety of different things that you can do on the private side of the website. So in here, there's so many different ways to be able to personalize the information, whether it's by name, by photo, all of those different areas. Okay. Now I can organize content in a variety of different ways, but the first thing I'm going to show you is actually the member directory. Everything we do goes back to the member directory, mainly because that's where your recognition is going to happen. So as you can see, the member directory is filled with photos and content. I would encourage everybody on this phone call to make sure that your members are populating their profiles. It will not only help them out, but it will also help your staff out when they're trying to recognize new members at the club. Now, one thing that I'm logging in here, so I'm looking at Francis Abernathy, and if this is my profile, as you can see, I've got all the information about my account. If my GIN number is in my profile, well, then now I can view and post GIN scores. You can actually view and post GIN scores on your mobile app as well. So it's a great touch point for people who are trying to post scores. You also have great photo recognition. For those of you who know me, that is me. Francis Abernathy is my alter ego. So I've got the ability to change my photo, whether it's on the website or on the mobile app. Now, the reason I show the member directory is because member recognition is going to be key when it comes to actually making reservations. So if I jump back to the member home, when the member logs in, they could easily just quickly go to the golf section and make a tee time. However, that adds a click. Or they could easily scroll down and click make a tee time. You can actually create content in multiple areas of your website. Okay, so you can understand the traffic patterns. In most cases, a lot of our clubs are actually just using a quick utility navigation, which will take them directly into the tee sheet. Now, one of the nice things about the Members First tee sheet is that we are a design agency. So we do focus a lot on the design. You'll notice that when you click on the tee sheet, it actually now looks like your website. We want to make sure that no matter where people are, that they have a consistent brand throughout their experience. So let's just say I'm in the dining and social section of my website, and I'm actually now looking at dining and social content. Okay, everything about the Christmas Eve party to the New Year's bash. But I can easily scroll up, hit my utility navigation, and go directly into the tee sheet. Now, keep in mind, the club at Neptune Cove for my demo site, I have created this as 3 different golf courses. So for those of you who have 36 holes, 72 holes, if you've got 27 holes, there's a variety of different ways where we can set up the tee sheet to match your operation. But what I'm going to do today is actually just jump into the club at Neptune Cove. Now, the club at Neptune Cove, there's a variety of different things that you're looking at here. You can see even though I'm in the club at Neptune Cove, I can toggle back and forth between the multiple courses. I can also scroll down. I got a 3-month view, so I can look at in the past, in the future, or excuse me, current and in the future, or I've got quick drop downs where I can actually navigate back and forth. Now, one of the things that you'll notice is that each of these days are set up differently. So I'm actually going to go to, let's go to Saturday. So on Saturday, I'm going to book a tee time. So I'm going to book a tee time for tomorrow. As you can see, I've got notes that the golf professionals can use for promotional pieces. You can put photos and flyers in there if you want. I prefer to have just content on my tee sheet. I don't like to have a ton of flyers, but you could do so if that's the way that you run your operation. You'll notice that times that are in blue and are clickable are times that I am able to make a tee time. Now, the times that are grayed out are times that are unavailable to me. They could be unavailable because maybe they're a starter time, or maybe they are for walk-up play only, or maybe it's because of my membership category I cannot play at those times. So there's a variety of different ways to kind of organize your rules and restrictions to make sure it's active. Now, as you can see, I've already got a tee time down here. So I'm going to go ahead and I'm going to actually delete this tee time. So I'm going to cancel this group. And now everything is gone. That'll prevent me from kind of getting any messages saying that I already have a tee time. So I'm going to scroll down here and I'm going to say I want to play at 10 o'clock tomorrow. Now, we have the ability, there are some clubs that allow their members to book more than one foursome. Okay, so if they can allow them to book up to 4 foursomes, you can actually check off the following 3 foursomes that are available. But that's an option that you could turn on or turn off. So if you're a club that only allows members to make it 1 tee time for their group, that's fine. If you're a club that allows them to make multiple tee times per group, that's fine as well. I'm going to click continue. And now a couple of the things that you're looking at here, now this is in the reservations booking sheet. A couple of things to note down here in the bottom, you'll notice that this is a live system. So you can see I've got the next 9 minutes remaining. This is configurable by the club. If you want to give your members 5 minutes, 6 minutes, 7.5 minutes, you determine the time and then we start the click. We start the countdown. You can see that there's 1 player currently on my tee time, and I am currently on Neptune Cove, and I'm in the 10 o'clock tee time on November 18th. So a couple different things that we're looking at here. I've got my database to select through. I can search other members. So if I wanted to search for people in Jones with a last name Jones, or if I wanted to search by my guest list, or if I wanted to search by my groups. So let's just say I've got my college buddies that I play with, once a month. I can make that tee time, save that group, and actually just add that so I can save myself a click. And I've also got a predetermined buddy list, and I can also create a league as well. I'm going to go back for today's demonstration. We're going to go in, we're actually just going to put in my buddy Kevin. or actually, you know what? Let's put in another Abernathy. I'm going to put in Derek Abernathy. So one of the cool things about this is that what if there's multiple Abernathys and I don't know if this is the right one before I add it to the tea time? Well, now, if the members are populating their profiles, again, encourage your members to add their photos there so that if there are multiple Derek Abernathys, well, then now if I click the info item, the member themselves can see it and they can recognize whether this is the correct member account or not. So I'm going to go ahead and add Derek. And on here, let's just say I don't have, it's just me and my brother. So we're going to be playing. However, I know that I'm going to have 2 other people, but I do not know who they are going to be yet. So I'm going to actually put a hold on that tea time. The great thing for our golf professionals on this phone call is that that hold can be set to expire. It can expire, 24 hours in advance, 2 hours in advance, 72 hours in advance, whatever you want to do. So that way, Francis and Derek can hold this time, but it will automatically expire. The members will also get a notification to say your time is about to expire, or excuse me, your hold is about to expire. That way they either need to go in and put somebody's name in, or put an account in, or that those time slots will be opened up. Now on the flip side of that, let's just say my brother and I are looking to round out our foursome, but we're looking for a game. So I'm going to add an indicator to the rest of the membership that both me and my brother are looking for a fort to complete our foursome, so we want people to join us. Okay. Now I can add in some special request notes. And the pros can also add notes on this, so make sure you call the golf shop with any questions, or hey, don't forget we're punching the greens on the 25th. And then I can actually go ahead and create the reservation. That's how simple it is to make a tee time. And you'll notice that both myself and my brother Derek are on the tee sheet. You can see that we've already indicated to the rest of the membership that we're looking for people to join us. The other part about this is that we also not only are our names on the tee sheet, but now if I look at the calendar, not only on my calendar, but also my brother Derek's calendar, if he logs in with his own user credentials, he will actually be able to see on Saturday that we have a tee time at 10 a.m. So now your tee times are actually going back to your calendar, which allows your members to plan out the rest of their day. So maybe I'm going to play, I'm going to play at 10, and you know what, that'll give me enough time to sign up for the Italian night for dinner. And I go ahead and register for the Italian night, and now I'm all set. So it allows you to connect all of your content together in one consistent brand. Now let's jump back to the tee sheet. Now I want to talk a little bit about some tournament functionality. Every club runs their information a little bit differently, but every place has tournaments and events. Whether they're ladies golf events, men's golf events, junior golf events, mixed golf events, there's a variety of different things that will happen. So if I jump into, let's just jump into the, into the tournament list. So now this is looking at the calendar. And here's the calendar that we're looking at here. Okay, so from this calendar, I can jump into a variety of different areas. I can look at this in the month view, a day view, or a list view. So I've got all my different calendars here. And if I just want to jump into the Wine and Nine on Wednesday, the 22nd, I would click the Wine and Nine, and look what it does. It brings me directly to the tee sheet for the Wine and Nine on that club. So then I would be able to go in, make registrations if I was able to. So what it does, it takes your calendar and it actually brings you directly to the tee sheet so that they could sign up. The key for any tournament registration software is to get it on the tee sheet. Now, one thing I want to show you is how you can actually sign up for your larger member guests. So your larger member guests, let's just quickly look at the calendar list. And we're going to click the 23rd for the one-day member guest. And you'll notice that it takes me directly to the tee sheet. I've got the one-day member guest, a little bit of content from the golf professionals. I can view other people who have signed up for this tournament. So as you can see, I got a few different people here. And let's just go ahead and hit create entry. So now it's time for me to register. As you can tell, I'm already on the registration list. And let's go ahead and I'm going to put in, let's register my sister. So it's going to be a mixed event, and it's going to be myself and my sister. We're going to go ahead and hit continue. The nice thing about this is that your golf professionals can now add custom forms to these fields. So, once I've got this information here, it's giving me a note that there's 140 openings available for this event before it goes to a wait list. We have full wait list and lottery functionality within the software. We won't cover that on today's call, but check with me on a follow-up call, and I'll be able to show you how the wait list and lottery works. I'm going to go ahead and hit continue. And this will bring you to the custom form. Now, you're not going to use these forms for every single event. However, you may use these for your larger events, such as your member guests. So I've got Francis Abernathy here. Maybe this is a form that the golf professionals are creating. If you're a club that takes caddies, maybe you're creating a question, will you require a caddy? If yes, how many caddies do you need? Okay. If no, there's logic within the form to make sure that if they say no, they don't have to answer that second follow-up question. Maybe you're giving away shirts, small, medium, or large. Do you need a box lunch? If yes, what would you like? Ham, roast beef, or turkey? You can also, we have some clubs that use this for maybe it's the Saturday night of the big invitational, okay? And maybe the Saturday night dinner, spouses are invited to that dinner. So maybe you want to know, is your spouse coming to dinner on Saturday night? If so, what are they having for dinner? So you can actually start to give information to your food and beverage team at the same time as the members are signing up for the golf tournament. It's a great way for cross-department communication. You can also start to ask questions such as, hey, are there any dietary restrictions? Get ahead of the game. Make it easy for your food and beverage department to know, hey, do we have some guests that are going to be allergic to peanuts? Or maybe maybe you have some of your sales reps for your merchandise companies that are going to be there on property. Maybe they're giving away shoes, travel bags, stand bags, wedges. Well, wouldn't it be great that if you gave the Callaway rep who's going to be at that tournament, if you gave them a heads up that, hey, you know what, 50% of the people selected travel bags. Make sure that you have more travel bags than you do stand bags there during the event. It will allow them to prepare. It'll allow those merchandisers to not have not enough equipment to give away, and it just adds to the experience for your member guest. Now, keep in mind, I'm filling this out for the member. Now, the member can also fill it out for the guest. Now, this is the same form, but I want to know different information. So my sister's traveling with me from, let's just say it's Connecticut, and her home club is Stanwich. Maybe I want to know her guest index. And now I want to know her shirt size. Will she need a box lunch? Will she need rental clubs, yes or no? And what does she want for a gift? So it allows you to not only get information from your members, but allows you to get information for your guests as well. I'm just going to go ahead and hit I'm done. And now I have registered for that member guest. Okay. Now that covers the member experience of the tee sheet. There's so much flexibility that you can have from the members experience. We're here to help you understand how to use the software to best fit your operation. Now what I'm going to do is I'm actually going to jump over into the administrative side of this. So this is what the pro shop would see. Keep in mind, one great thing about our reservation system is that it is 100% web-based. There is no software installed at your club, okay? So as long as somebody has access to the internet and it works on all different devices, both admin and member-facing, so you could have a starter with an iPad. You could have a bartender that has read-only access so that they can see the tee sheet and not have to go to the pro shop every day to gather that tee sheet and then have it updated, and then have it updated, and then have it updated. So it allows you to kind of give people access to the tee sheet, but maybe they can't make a tee time. What I'm going to do for today's presentation is we're going to jump into the administrative experience. So let me just bring that over here on the same screen. I'm going to go ahead and log in. Once I've logged in, you'll notice that it takes you directly to today's time, okay? Now, we can also look at, if I jump over to the 18th, and we're on Neptune Cove, if I scroll down, you'll remember that there's that tee time that we made for Francis Abernathy, Derek Abernathy, and the two join me components. So it happens instantaneously. Now what we're going to do here, let's just jump over to the 17th and let's just scroll down a little bit. And now let's just say a member calls into the club, or they walk by the pro, or they, they're talking to the pro on the first tee, and they say, "Hey, make me a tee time for tomorrow." Whatever the case is, then all the pro or the shop manager, all they need to do is log in, click the time that they selected. Now, if I selected 11:36, again, this is a live system, so it's going to appear. This time is going to appear booked not only to other administrators but to other members. And so if I'm going to let's just say the Abernathys are in front of me. So let's just say it's Francis Abernathy. I'm going to go ahead and add him as a player. Again, you'll notice it's important to make sure that your members populate their profiles, because from the administrative side, you can also start to see their member photos. Okay. Now let's also say, "Hey, Mr. Abernathy, who are you playing with?" "Ah, you're playing with your brother again." Okay, so let's add Derek Abernathy. Okay. Now, the other thing is you could do, let's just say that we're making a guest. Okay, we're going to make a guest reservation as well. So we're going to say, "Hey, we're going to bring just a random guest." And now one of the things by default, it's going to add the guest as a guest of the main booker. However, if I want to say this guest is actually a guest of my brother, so I want him to pay for it, we can do that accordingly. The other items down here, you've got your player booking sheet. So you can see that my preference is to ride, my Derek's is to take a caddy, and the guest doesn't have a preference as of yet. But what we're going to do is we're just going to click this button and everybody's going to ride today. We have a couple different items here. We've got the ability to check them in, charge them, and send them an email. Over here on the left-hand side, I'm going to ignore booking restrictions and I'm going to suppress emails, mainly because if they're standing in front of me, maybe they're walking on, I don't necessarily need to send them an email. However, if they're making a time for tomorrow, I do want to have them get an email. But for today's presentation, I'm going to ignore those just to avoid any error message that will pop up. Now, one of the great things, I mentioned that we do have point of sale integration for our mutual Members First and Jonas Software and Club Systems Group clients. So what you may or may not have recognized is that over here on the right-hand side, you'll notice that the point of sale ticket was starting to be created. Okay, so the great thing is that I've actually got 2 point of sale tickets, one for Derek and one for Francis. And if I want to send this to the point of sale, I'm going to select everybody and just go ahead and hit send to point of sale. One of the nice things you'll notice is that it'll take you right back to the tee sheet. It will be marked in yellow, which means it was sent to the point of sale. And so at the end of the day, you want to make sure that your entire tee sheet is yellow, which means that you've sent everybody to the point of sale. Now, the way that that actually works, because this is a web-based solution, it will talk to your point of sale computer. So depending on which point of sale terminal you want to send it to, you literally could have the starter check in the group, have the starter from the tablet say send to the point of sale in the pro shop, so that your starter can be responsible for managing the groups, managing them at the turn, and then when they send to the point of sale, another employee may be able to charge them inside. Not every club has a point of sale terminal at the first tee. If you are, you're one of the lucky ones. If not, you may want to use this as a way to send it to a different point of sale. Now, what you'll notice is that as soon as I sent that to the point of sale, all of my tickets arrived. Okay, we do not want to put anything into a batch upload. It sounds easy, but there's a lot of room for error. Okay, so what we do is that we actually open up the point of sale ticket, because as you can see, here's a point of sale terminal, and I've got Francis Abernathy. You can notice that I've got an 18-hole cart fee, but I'm purchasing, some Pro V1s. Okay, so I'm going to add some Pro V1s before I actually tender the ticket. So then I'm just going to go ahead and hit member charge. What it does is it brings me directly to Derek Abernathy, which will have the 2 cart fees. And let's just say that he's, whatever he's doing, let's just say that he needs some new gloves. So once you've actually added all the information to the ticket, all you're going to do is hit member charge, and you're done. So it's a great way for you to be able to not only make a reservation from the member side of it, but it also has to be super easy from the administrative side of it. Now, there's a variety of different things that we could cover today, but in the sake of time, I just wanted to cover some high-level components. So you have the ability to make reservations, connect it to your point of sale, and you have a variety of different tournament functionalities as well. Now, just jumping back to the presentation, that concludes the actual presentation. I'd like to open up the question and answer period. So what I'll do is I'll actually open up the question and answer period over here on the right-hand side. And if you haven't already put questions in there, feel free to put questions into the panel, and I will answer them in the order they are received. First question coming in is always the most common question. Will you be sending slides? Yes, I will. I will be sending slides to all of the attendees. And for those people who are Members First clients, we will also be putting a notice on the admin area of your home screen, so that we will not only put access to the slide deck, but we'll also add a recorded webinar as well. That way you can actually use that with anybody else. Okay, I'm getting a question. This one is in regards to it looks like it's in regards to the mobile app. This question is coming in. How should we promote the app to get our members using it? Well, that's kind of the $1 million question, right? Just because you have an app doesn't mean your members are all going to go download it. The things that I have seen work best is that, one, develop the app. However, you need to develop a good communications program as well. So you want to make sure that you are rolling out the T-sheet as a part of your communications plan. Put it in your weekly emails. Make sure that all of your department heads have downloaded the app. Make sure that they all have member access to the app. That way they can, the pro could be on the first tee, the food and beverage manager and the bartender can be there, and set up a contest. Set up a little bit of a goal and say, hey, the more people that you can get to download the app, whatever it is, you get a gift certificate to somewhere else. So there's a variety of different things that you can do, but there's no guarantee that your members are going to download the app. You want to make sure that your staff is there to help you out. Now, if you have committees are great because those are internal resources that are a part of the membership. You can actually leverage them to be able to go out and make sure that their friends download the app, and then their friends' friends download the app. And it kind of creates a great communications plan. So there's no guarantee they will download it, but you want to make sure that they know the benefits of downloading it. Okay, we've got another question coming in here. When we make updates on the T-sheet, will that update both the website T-sheet and the Jonas T-sheet? So great question. This would be your only T-sheet. Because this connects directly to your Jonas point of sale, you wouldn't necessarily need the Jonas T-sheet. So it sounds like this person may be a Jonas client, which is great. Both myself and your Jonas representative would be able to jump on a call with you. But the way that this would work is that this would be your only T-sheet. There's no more copying, there's no more pasting, there's no more any of that and managing multiple T-sheets. Because the Members First T-sheet can connect directly to the Jonas point of sale, there is no need for that middle T-sheet. So kind of a complex question. Maybe we could touch base a little bit after this call to go through those questions, but you would only need one T-sheet because it connects to the point of sale. So great question. Okay, another one coming in here. This looks like it's coming in from a club which is probably very new to the T-sheet game. So the question or the comment is, our club doesn't take tee times, but I want to stop using paper pencil T-sheets. I've seen this so many times. Just because the club so I'm a former club manager. The club that I used to work at did not accept tee times. However, every club that does not take tee times still has a tee sheet. However, a lot of pros are trying to move away from doing paper pencil tee sheets. And yes, those clubs do still exist. And so the clubs that are moving away from paper pencil tee sheets, the way that I have, there's plenty of ways to ease into automating your tee sheet. Some clubs that we work with that don't allow their members to book regular play online, they start by allowing members to register for events online. You know, go after the tournaments first. The tee times will follow. Or they configure the tee sheet to be a read-only tee sheet. That way, even if you don't take tee times, a member can still log in, take a look at the tee sheet, and determine, hey, you know what? There's a ton of people there. I don't really feel like waiting for 2 hours until I can go out. So maybe I'm going to hang off and maybe I'll go, a little bit later in the day. Or some clubs set up, configure the tee sheet to be kind of like a notifications setup, so that if you just want to notify the pros that, hey, you're going to be coming around this time, and you may be bringing a guest. So it's not a traditional tee sheet, but you can actually set it up to just accept notifications that people are coming. That will allow you to help service the member a little bit better. The last way that I've seen that work, which I thought was kind of great, was the to accommodate for walk-up players. So we had one club just outside of Boston actually set up their tee sheet where every other time was a walk-up time. That way, those people who did not want to make a tee time, they could still show up. Once they had all 4 people, the starter would put them on the list and give them a time. So that would happen every other time. So the people who just wanted to walk up and play, they were covered. The people who wanted to make a tee time online, they were covered too. Great question. All right, we've got another one coming in. When members sign up for a tournament, is there a way for them to be added to our tournament management system? Oh, great. And it looks like this person's using Golf Genius. So yes, so the Members First tee sheet, the way that it works best with Golf Genius, we have a great relationship with all the guys over at Golf Genius. We understand that Golf Genius is the new TPP. So one of the things that you would want to do is that we do have an integration to Golf Genius. However, one requirement for that integration is that you need to be using the Golf Genius Premier product. Okay, so you need to make sure that you're using the paid version versus the free version. If so, then we have the ability to marry your player rosters. That way you don't have to enter them twice. However, one of the things that most of our clients that use Golf Genius do is that they have all of their tournament registrations done in MembersFirst, mainly because you need to use the point of sale integration, right? Because every tournament needs to be a round that is recorded in your point of sale. So what we do is we usually have our golf pros have the members register for their tournaments in MembersFirst, and then you could transfer that over into Golf Genius, because you would have the list that you can zip in there, and the player roster in Golf Genius will already recognize those people. The other cool thing about Golf Genius is that they have the ability to do live scoring. So the great thing about that is that they give the pros great embed codes that you can actually paste on the website, so that you can actually now see live scoring and tournament results. So can't say enough great things about Golf Genius, and MembersFirst is one of their partners. So great question. Okay, we're just about at 12. Oh, okay, we've got another question coming in here. This question's coming in. It just says junior programs or camp. Can you clarify that question as far as, is there something specific that you want to know about junior programs or camp? Okay, perfect. Thank you for the clarification. So so what I'm reading from this club is that it looks like they probably have junior programs such as maybe golf clinics or golf junior programs, and they're wondering how can those reservations be handled. So MembersFirst, we won't cover it all today, but I do have a couple webinars on junior programs and camps. But to answer that question quickly is we do have, MembersFirst does have a reservations module that actually handles junior programs and camps. So not only does it handle golf components, but it also handles, you may have a club that does tennis camps or overall club camps or after school programs. And the way that those reservations are handled is that you actually set them up by, program type. So maybe this is the junior golf program, and then you probably have multiple weeks. And in most cases, I see a lot of clubs still doing like paper pencil PDF forms, asking the parents to download them. Then you got to download multiple forms if you have two kids, and then you've got to submit those forms via email. You don't get any confirmations. So, we noticed that a number of years ago. So Members First actually built a junior programs module, which allows you to take all of your camp registrations in one place at one time. And it also allows your members to sign up their kids for all of the camps in one single registration. So it allows your members to do it right from the website, and then it allows your program counselors or your directors to be able to manage attendee lists or send out a targeted push notifications for a weather-related notice that needs to go out. But you don't have to send it to the entire group. You can actually send it to just the people attending that day when there's inclement weather. So kind of a quick answer, but certainly, I'll reach out after this call to go through any specific questions that you have in regards to junior programs and that module. All right, we've got some great questions coming in here. I will actually hang on for another minute or so to see if I can answer any additional questions that come in. But again, certainly, if no other questions that we have for today's call, my contact information is listed right there on the screen. You could certainly email me directly, and I will make sure to have a phone call and answer any specific questions that you have. All right, great. So it looks like those were that concludes the question and answer period. Thanks. I appreciate the comment on there. I enjoyed my time here for the webinar as well. And certainly, if you have any questions, feel free to reach out to myself or your client services manager at MembersFirst. Have a great day and enjoy the weekend.